When the sun go down, you know the drill, folks. Ruthless, Season 3, Episode 6, Punishment and Games. Believe it or not, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. It would have gotten a 10 out of 10, but we had the unnecessary Brian getting stripped down naked scene and his dingling on. Yeah, we did. Why? We did not need this. I mean, if you're going to like chop off his appendages or fingers and toes one at a time, why strip nothing more than, let's say, perhaps his jacket or in his boots and socks or something? But then again, it's Tyler Perry writing. I don't know. But yeah, this was an episode people hyped up for good reason. I don't think there was many or any episodes in season 2 that got me going, oh shit, this is getting real. So, Punishment and Games. Now, we pick up where we left off, at the end of the last episode. The Highest handed Andrew a gun and told him to go inside to kill the white man's government agent, basically the federal officer in the trailer. So, it's interesting because the Highest switched it up as Andrew was going in because, remember, he loves an obedient soldier. But he opts to actually torture Brian as opposed to just having Andrew kill him. Now, interestingly enough, when Andrew goes into the trailer, he noticed that Brian's cuffs were undone and the fact that he had a knife on him. So as a result, he kind of pushes Daikon to the side just to let him know, hey, this guy has a weapon on him. So he basically snitches. And the big question is, Andrew, whose side are you on? So from there, we kind of switch gears real quick. Zane is spotted by River coming out of a trailer, and River notices that something is off about Zane. But in order to kind of, I guess you could say, keep her cool, he mentions that Oliver and Lacey are back on the compound. So basically from there, River needs to make sure Zane keeps her head in the game due to the fact that she's in the operation as well. So her not being in a good state of mind will be bad for all of them because they need to be of one accord, which is interesting to say given what happens to him later in the episode. So the Highest, there was a clip that BET Plus put out there. This was one of the few scenes where the Highest feels threatening. Not that he's, aside from being insane or high, this is like, oh damn, this is when Tyrone really comes out in terms of, well, hey, we've met before, haven't we? When you came with the sheriff back in season 1. I think one of the lowest rated episodes I gave one in the first half of season 1. But it was still an okay episode in itself. That's when, Brian and the sheriff went up to the compound for the first time. I feel like I need to rewatch that episode just because given the context of what we know now, like the sheriff being involved with the Rackadushis and everything, it's really starting to come together. But from there, he just says that he wants Brian to tell him who he's working for, who's the man on the inside that is working with the FBI. He pretty much is able to cover it up because, also I need to mention, instead of the punishment trailer where Lacey and Oliver are, Brian is taken to a torture trailer. Not the same one that Melinda was in when she got shocked with the electric chair. I think Ruthless TV mentioned this in her video because she uploaded way earlier today or last night and I watched it. She asked the question of how many trailers on the compound. That's a very good question because I know you got the Highest trailer, you got Elder Mother, Daikon has his own trailer, and then from there you have like the red, blue, yellow. Yeah, like just like the rainbow trailers, if you will, where every like trailer is like a color and it's ran by one or two elders and whatnot. And then you got multiple punishment trailers, probably trailers for storage. So, in any case, he's going to lose a finger one at a time before he tells him the truth. But this goes, he gets naked. I don't even know. But essentially, Daikon notices the wedding ring and says, "What's your wife's name?" Karen. But then, why do you have Lynn tattooed on your finger? And he remembers Lynn as the woman that, wants to come to the compound. And despite Brian trying to cover up for Andrew, who's standing right there, by the way, that, oh yeah, we tried to get an FBI agent in, but he wasn't able to infiltrate the compound. And they kind of put two and two together like, oh, well, Lynn actually came, but then she didn't come into the compound. So perhaps she's the one we're looking for. And as a result, they'll wait for her to come tomorrow. So from there, yeah, the highest tells Daikon to call Lynn to make sure, she gets there as soon as possible. So, the elder mothers have a quick chat about, again, the different power dynamics. Even though Marva has the Supreme Elder Mother title now, she doesn't want to be regulated strictly to kitchen duty because she, like Daikon, wants to be by the highest side as much as possible, to do things for him that, only they did. And she feels like she's losing ground despite her rank in promotion, if you will. So, the other Elder Mother mentions how Ruth is glowing, and then it clicks in Supreme Elder Mother's mind that, you know what, I think we should get pregnancy tests in order to make sure the women are coming along nicely. That way we're keeping track of who's with child. So Ruth is actually spotted by Marva and have a brief conversation, kind of assuring Ruth like, hey, are you going to tell the highest about the boy I was trying to, bring over to his trailer, or the fact that I have my own, I keep, sipping on the moonshine. And Ruth says, no, don't even worry about it. You're very important to the compound. I'll keep my lips sealed. And it's funny because, she's kind of, buttering up Ruth, but at the same time is conspiring to work against her. And then as soon as she leaves, crazy B, because, well, that's Ruth with the one-liners. So River and Ruth have another scene together, as always, where they talk about the fact that money will be moving into the accounts as soon as Monday. And Ruth needs to talk to Zane in order to make sure she keeps a cool head because, he saw her earlier in the episode and she didn't seem all there. She seemed very bothered by something. So, moving on from there, we got Elder Mother and the highest sitting outside of his trailer, and she mentions the fact that, she took it upon herself to buy pregnancy tests for the women, and the highest thinking like, well, shouldn't the women already know if they're with child? And she brings up one of the other members who was like 7 or 8 months pregnant, and they didn't know until that point. But then it's hard to kind of tell because she is a bit on the bigger side. But the highest actually gives his blessing in order to, you know what, that's a good idea, in order to make sure we know who's coming along. And not only that, that could be a way of keeping track to see if anybody's having, I guess you could say, unholy sex on the compound. That way it's like, hey, you didn't have a seeding ceremony, so why are you with child? So there must be some dirt going on. Now from there, Daikon calls Lynn, who's in bed with Malcolm, and he's doing coke, which isn't surprising. And she says that she'll come to the Rakadushi compound tomorrow because she's been busy lately and hasn't been able to follow up with him. Now Malcolm and Lynn are in the bed. Apparently they're in a hotel room, and Malcolm wants to know who was on the phone because, Malcolm is kind of jealous, and he's actually pissed off at Lynn for telling Brian about their affair. And on the flip side, Lynn says, well, I don't want you to mention Cynthia when we're together as well. But then he finally learns who was on the phone, Daikon from the Rakadushis, and they have good, and he knows everything being, a federal agent, but she mentions the amazing drugs that they have, and he wants in. So it's like, hey, when you go tomorrow, bring me with you and just say that I'm a new recruit, somebody that you recruited. Lord have mercy. So from there, the highest tells Daikon and Andrew that what we're going to do, we're going to leave Brian in the torture chamber until tomorrow when Lynn gets there. Andrew is in the trailer with Daikon. They're just chilling. And it seems like Daikon is trying to just get with anybody he can because he's upset about the highest and Ruth getting married. And Andrew makes it clear that I'm not going to bed with your brother. The only person on this compound that has that privilege is the highest. And as a result, he says something about he needs painkillers for his arm due to everything that's went down today. When you think about it, Andrew has been just working nonstop, from cleaning up Melinda's mess with Poke, and then what do you call it? Hot rod? Is it hot rod a car? Basically hot wire Lilo's car, and then you had the Oliver, Lacey, and Paula escape. Then he had to go clean that up, and then he had to deal with the Brian situation. The man needs a rest. I know the whole thing is, oh, can he be trusted? Give Andrew like a day or two off to just rest up. This man has been running ragged. But in any case, Daikon is pissed off because Andrew, rejects him, and he's kicked out of the trailer. Now, we're almost done here. Ruth actually has a brief conversation with Zane, who she catches sneaking food to Oliver and Lacey in the punishment trailer. And she says, hey, don't do that anymore so you don't get caught. Since I'm going to be upgraded to the wife of the highest, I'll be able to do that kind of thing, bringing food without anybody asking too many questions. Again, just following up on what River told Roof about making sure Zane is cool, calm, and collected. That way, the operation goes smoothly. Now, the highest actually sees Roof out and about at night and pretty much actually says something interesting compared to last week, because when he announced that they will be, were to be married, like she was to be his wife, she was like, oh, so would you like to commemorate this event? Basically go have sex. And he was like, no, I want to see River tonight. But in this episode, he's like, do you mind if I see River tonight? Oh, no, it's fine. So from there, he mentions the pregnancy test and the fact that she's going to be the first to get, tested. Whoa. So just to kind of jump ahead, we go over to Ruth talking to Joan about the situation with the pregnancy test. Joan just wants to see how Ruth is doing in this situation. And Ruth asks Joan to let her know as soon as you can when the pregnancy test arrives on the compound, because, again, I'm not pregnant. I got to find a way around that. So it's the next day. River, naked, hogtied, traumatized. It's an interesting switch from being twirled around with the highest to maybe because he kind of was upset about the whole Brian situation and the fact that the white man is inside of, or one of the agents of the white man's government is inside their compound, that he just flipped down on River. So, this guy, he was probably better off in the cooler. The highest is like jovial, cracking jokes, and he basically, tell Ruth to come give me a bath and, Supreme Elder Mother to make breakfast while you get, changed and whatnot. So River actually talked with Joan about how he wants to get the hell out of there as soon as possible, because he goes over to Joan, who wasn't cooking breakfast, but she was cooking those money books. And from there, Manny tells Daikon, because remember, Oliver is usually that dude at the gate, but he's in the punishment trailer right now. So Manny goes over to Daikon to let him know that Lynn and Andrew or Malcolm have come at the front gate. And it's funny because, again, Ruthless TV's commentary is hilarious. She mentions how Lynn walks up to, the Rakadushi compound with Malcolm in tow, looking like they're going to like a, barbecue cookout. And it's just so funny because of the fact that, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. I mean, they came there looking for drugs and a good time, not knowing that darker things lie within the trailers. Just to kind of put this out here, I might do a theory video separately. My guess is the reason that Malcolm is in the cooler in the trailer, I think Ruth and the highest, are there, and he gets hit with like a bat or something, is because A, he either breaks the rules of the Rakadushi or disrespects the Rakadushi rules, or B, he gets thrown under the bus by the likes of maybe Andrew or Brian as being the FBI agent that's been sent to infiltrate the compound, because Andrew and Brian have no love lost about the guy because he slept with both of their wives. But it's just one of those things where perhaps in order to save Lynn, Brian is like, Malcolm is the dude, but only time will tell. So with that being said, too bad Brian can apparently flip anybody off with one of his hands now. But yeah, aside from that, good episode. Seriously, good stuff. Can't wait for next week. So take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe and hit that bell icon to select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel.